Good morning and welcome back to Community Couch Time, a daily talk show where we talk about things that are important, things that are happening in our community, in our state, in this country, and internationally. Oftentimes, the topics that we discuss are ones that others aren't talking about. And the question is, why aren't we? And so now a word from Ms. Wallace.
Good morning, great minds and good people. I'm Miss Tiffany Wallace, and thank you for having me for Community Couch Time. Now, let's start the discourse.
It wasn't me. Don't give me that. We got your prints all over the scene.
No.
Confess now, and you're looking at a life sentence instead of the very...
Got a latte for Denise.
Over here. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Community Couch Time. How are you, Ms. Wallace?
I'm doing excellent, Miss Cardona. Enjoying our weekend. Glad to be back. And so excited to have our special guest, Mr. Johnathan L. Jackson. Welcome.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am so appreciative. It's been a while since we've gotten to hang out, so it was really good to have you here. And so we thought of inviting you because you have such an interesting past. You're so talented, and you're, quite frankly, just a really good person, in the community. And so we just have a few questions for you. But I'm going to read a little bit of your bio so that folks can know what I know, right? The amazing Johnathan L. Jackson. Okay, so Johnathan L. Jackson is an actor, writer, and director from Cleveland, Ohio. He comes from a very large family as the eldest of 7 siblings. He's married to the amazingly beautiful and talented Imani Jackson. He is also a father of 6, 2 by birth, Isaiah and Harlem, and 4 by the heart, Summer Nicole, Ari, Kayla, and Caitlin. Once a track and field state champion, Johnathan fell in love with the arts in high school, being bitten by the theater bug his junior year when doing the musical Dreamgirls in the All-City Musical. He graduated from the Cleveland School of the Arts as a drama major. Johnathan has also found success as a writer for both film and stage. His film, A Father's Love, is an official selection of the Ladies' First Film Festival in Dublin, Ireland, and the Indie Night Film Festival in Hollywood, California, founded by Dave Brown. His theater production, Crying Out for You, has seen great success in Cleveland, Ohio. Another play Johnathan wrote, The Night in Question, is an official selection of the DC Black Theater Festival. He is a published playwright and award-winning performance poet. He also is a frequent contributor to the website, theblackjuice.com, as a blogger, and he's here with us today. Woo! Yay.
That makes me sound so interesting.
You are so interesting.
You did all of that.
Crazy.
Yeah. And it's so amazing hearing your bio and just meeting you. I'm really fascinated by your experience. And so thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Mm-hmm. Hearing that, a lot of things stuck out to me. Your experience as an athlete, as a state champion athlete, okay? And as an actor, with Black folks, specifically Black men, there's a lot of pressure to be in one type of position, a rapper or an athlete, and then that's it. That's where we see a lot of media representation. So for you, your story is really fascinating to me because you're so well-rounded in that way. I wanted to ask you, in dealing with that, and especially with disability and the concussion, like all of that stuff is really harrowing, but it's things that students and folks go through. How are you able to balance being an athlete and also being an actor and a creator and playwright?
Well, for me, I think the biggest thing about it is that it took courage, because I think it's easy to do, though, to just be an athlete or to just do one thing. I think that's the easiest thing that you can do. And I think for me, what happened was that I played football from the age of 8 to 16 straight. So you're talking about 8 years for like the majority of my entire childhood. And I looked up, and what happened, honestly, was I started to look around at teammates of mine, and I realized that football was all they had, right? Like I played with guys who, went on to the NFL, guys who, we had over 30 D1 athletes on our team in high school. So like at that point, I started to look around and I saw guys who I knew all they had was football, right? Like this was their way out. And I looked at myself and said, what else can I do? Like, what else can I do? I've dedicated all of this time, all of this effort, all of this energy to football, and I've never entertained what else I could possibly do. Like, what else is inside of me, right? And so I kind of, and honestly, it came from a place of frustration. So I think one of the biggest keys there is that, like, your journey and whatever you believe in will take your most frustrating and disappointing points and turn them into the ingredients that make your purpose more clear for you. And I feel like for me, I was going through a period where I was sitting and I was frustrated sitting because I had never sat. So for me, sitting was hard, but I was sitting behind guys who were going to Miami, Ohio State, USC, and guys who went on to go into to NFL to play for the Rams, for the Carolina Panthers and things like that. That's who I was sitting behind. But as a kid, you're not going to be comfortable sitting either way. You're like, I want to play. And because we get frustrated and we try to jump the gun in our process, right? And I think, sometimes you have those little pieces of regret, like, man, what if I had just stuck with the process and followed what it was that I was trying to do? But it all ended up working out well for me. And once I asked that question, what else I could do, that's what kind of sparked the journey. So interesting, quick story about how it started. I was very frustrated with what I was going to do in life. Like, I didn't know because I had never tried anything else. And a friend of mine, he said to me, hey man, well, I'm trying to figure out a way to make this story quick as possible. So I had a teacher, because when you're playing football, sometimes teachers, we all know, sometimes teachers will pass you along, right? If you're struggling a little bit, not either of you all, I'm sure, but some teachers will pass athletes along. And that's kind of what was happening for me. Once I stopped playing, I realized that I was like failing all my classes, like all of them, because once you stop playing, once you stop being valuable, a lot of times people disregard you. And that's another nugget I'm gonna drop on you. Don't attach your value to what you can do on the field or on the court. That doesn't determine your value, no matter how much people try to tell you it does. Because if I listened to that, I would have assumed that I wasn't valuable anymore because I wasn't playing. But I had a teacher who made a deal with me. She said, hey, if you come to class and if you read with me, if you read in class out loud, I'll give you a seat. And I was like, bet, C sound good. Since I'm sitting at like a 14% at the moment, this, will really help me out. I can do this. So I went to her class and we started reading. And the book we started reading was a book called Fences by August Wilson. And she asked me to read Troy. And I started reading Troy, and it actually was going well. Like, I was kind of killing it, like low key, like for a little ghetto kid from the projects with that never did nothing like this before. I was doing pretty good with Troy. And it started to get to the point where day after day I'm reading Troy, and people started to skip class to come and hear me read Troy with another girl who was killing it doing roles. And, it was a lot of theater kids in that class anyway. And I was the outsider. So, and that's the courage part. Like, sometimes you got to go from being an outsider to being uncomfortable for a little bit until you become a part of the community. So I went in and it went well. And the teacher suggested to me, she said, hey, you should try out All City. And I said, what's All City? She said, it's an arts program in the school district where they take kids and, you perform. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could say what I said at the time. I don't want to do that. That's what I said. And she was like, I think you should really try it. It could be great. So then, I didn't think anything of it. And one of my friends said to me, he was like, yo, he was picking me up from school. And he's like, yo, I'm about to go to All City. You should come. And I was like, man, why everybody keep talking about All City? Where's this secret? Like, who kept this secret? Like, what is it? And he's like, man, just come. So I go to All City and we get there and I'm in the hallway, right? We're in the hallway. I'm just meeting new people. It's choir happening over here. You got dance over here. You got the drum line over here. And it's just this crazy dope experience all in the same building. And so I'm in the hallway because I'm a little overwhelmed, to be honest. And it's all these artsy people, So I'm in the hallway nervous. And then some other guys who were kind of like me, kind of were in the hallway like, yo, I'm kind of bugging, like, what's happening here? And we just started talking about art, what we thought performing arts was. And we all kind of connected about the Temptations movie. And so right there in the hallway, we start singing the Temptation song. And I was doing like that boom 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 boom. Like I was doing that part. And like, call it what you want to call it. I say it was God. This man walks by and he's like, whoa, what y'all doing? And I thought he was about to get in trouble because, we in the hallway, we supposed to be in this room. And he said, come here. And he took us with him and he took us to a little separate dance studio where they were having a rehearsal for a show that they were doing. At this point, it was Wednesday and they had a show Saturday. And he said, I just lost 2 singers and I lost my bass singer. Can you do this show with me on Saturday? And I was like, bet, like I could do a show, I guess. In my mind, I've never done a show. If he think I could do it, I guess I could do it. So we go to the show on Saturday. I get there. Actually, we have a costume fitting. So like, this is all new. Have a costume fitting. And this is the power of yes, right? This is the power of saying, yes, I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to do it. And we had a costume fitting on Friday. On Saturday, we get to the place. I'd never been there. He's like, it's downtown. So I go downtown. The performance is in what you call the Playhouse Square, which is the second largest theater complex in the country outside of Broadway. So I'm there like, okay. When he said a show, he meant a show. Like, this is a show. And so I was singing in the last 2 songs. So I'm backstage watching this show in this theater full of people and there's cameras everywhere. And it's a gallery and it's crazy. And I get so excited. Like, this is live. Like, and I went on stage to do my song. I sang the whole song in the wrong key. It was not good. But it had me, like I was bitten by that bug. And from there, it went on. Okay. And from there, it went on to, that guy who I met ended up being the director for Dreamgirls.
Oh my goodness.
And so it went on from there to and the music, crazy thing is the music director for that show is now my father-in-law. I ended up marrying his daughter. So it's kind of like, you never know the ways that your life is pulling you and bringing you together in different areas. Right. So like for me, I would just say like, go with it. When life is taking you a place that's positive and that's coming from a genuine place, go with it. And don't, like, I could have easily said, I'm not going to All City. Yeah. And how different does my life look at that point?
Oh my gosh. You just gave me chills because you're right. Because that's what happens. We doubt ourselves. There's all these things in the world that tell us no, that we're not good enough. Mm-hmm. But we got to say yes and just go for it.
And you want to know one of the things that got me over that, honestly, is because I started to realize it's a ton of people doing stuff that I think they're not good at, but they're still doing it. So it's like sometimes, like, especially as Black and brown folks, we get so caught up in, we got to be twice as good. We got to work twice as hard. And we have to. And I'm not saying that that's not true. But what I'm saying is go for it and see what happens. Because there's a lot of people who are trash that you watch on TV every night. Yeah. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of movies you see that aren't good. There's a lot of athletes you see and like, man, I could hoop him. Like, you've seen that happen. So, but what the difference was is when we said, I can't do that or I'll stop here, they kept going. Sometimes that's the difference. It's the perseverance. It's not the talent.
And now that brings us to our Community Couch Time Daily Journal question. When have you given up on or considered giving up on an opportunity that you really wanted and hoped for? Share with us. We want to know. We'll see you tomorrow for part 2 of our interview with Johnathan L. Jackson. In la catch.